Hey, welcome to Half the Battle.
You know, we first started looking at the Mass Device miniseries all the way back in March. That means it's been 9 months.
So I guess this baby is freaking due.
Yeah, I didn't want to spread this miniseries over 2 years, so we're ending this today by looking at the Mass Device Episode 5, A Stake in the Serpent's Heart. We ended the last episode with both sides rushing back to their bases with the third and final element needed to make their mass devices work. But Destro needed Scarlet as a hostage to escape. She wasn't too thrilled about that, so she shot his aircraft's control panel, sending it out of control towards a mountain.
And that's where we'll pick things up.
You fool! You cost us both our lives!
Okay, that's wrong.
They were heading towards a mountain, and now they're over a jungle or something?
Not a great start, guys.
I guess the writers couldn't figure out a way out of that predicament. Anyway, part of the controls still work, but Destro can't reach them, so Scarlet kicks him her crossbow, which has a winch arrow in it because of course it does. So he's pulled in and can stabilize the craft. And so that crisis is over in 50 seconds of runtime.
Bra frickin' vo.
Destro returns the triumphant hero, but all is not well as the Baroness informs him of the commander's failure to destroy New York City. This leads to Destro having a few things to say to Cobra Commander.
You psychotic, sibilant serpent of a dolt! I shall assure us a victory by taking full authority over all operations myself!
And there we have it, folks.
The first time in history that Cobra Commander had his power usurped. God knows it wouldn't be the last time, but the first miniseries is what started it all. Meanwhile, Scarlet is thrown in the dungeon, where she immediately gets into a catfight with the slave girl, her thinking Scarlet works for Cobra, because that just had to happen, didn't it?
Tell your masters that I told them nothing, and
The situation is resolved when she notices Duke's ring, and they form the Duke Appreciation Society.
Duke? 6'2", eyes of blue.
Anyway, Destro has gathered the world leaders they captured way back when, ordering them to instruct their nations to surrender. They comply and also tell the world Destro's the new Cobra leader.
Destro is the new Cobra leader.
Back with Scarlet.
Strip of metal you gave me works, Selena. If I concentrate, I can override the control of the Cobra soldiers.
Maybe don't say that out loud when there's 2 frickin' Cobras right behind you. They feed the other slaves, but there's a revolt brewing and they'll soon make their move. That's not the only problem Destro will have to deal with though.
Not one nation has surrendered. This one must take a vote. That one wants to take it under consideration.
And so he pretty much does what Cobra Commander did.
And lock on homing devices and eradicate New York, now!
The Joes realize what's happening though and fire up their own mass device to negate Cobra's beam. While that is good news, they still don't know where Cobra headquarters is, and Duke still has amnesia. Plus, to put a time limit on this thing, Destro will start executing world leaders one every half hour until the world surrenders. The girls pick this moment to make their move, and set the prisoners free, including Don Morocco apparently, and this guy who managed to keep his sunglasses and beard trimmer while enslaved.
Take them away!
Why?
You have guns, they don't. Weird moment for Destro to get a sense of fair play all of a sudden. Also, how's pointing a freaking bazooka at them, not to mention at your own men, taking them alive? Anyway, the rebellion failed, so that was a whole bag of nothing.
Let's see how the Joes are doing.
Okay, either rock and roll stole Breaker's clothes, or Breaker decided to dye his hair.
Or it could have been an animation error, but that's just crazy talk.
Anyway, they're trying to make Duke remember by putting him in the Bacta tank from Star Wars? They call it a sensory deprivation tank, but I don't think it counts if you have to keep your eyes shut for it to work. Also, how's he breathing? Doc, you forgot the oxygen mask. Oh shit! They go through his whole life's history because apparently we have time for that, even though we're over halfway through the final episode of the series, until we come to the important bit, where they see Duke gave his ring to the girl.
It's got special electronic characteristics, which can serve as our homing device right...
Okay, quick question.
Duke's been back for 3 episodes now, and the others know he has a special ring that can be used as a homing device.
So how in the name of Serpentor's scaly asshole did nobody notice his ring was missing?
Moving on, with this information, they start transporting to the Cobra base en masse, pun not intended, for the final showdown. And they have these weird spider-leg transports to put their vehicles on all of a sudden.
Hey, quick question again.
Why didn't they just transport to the top of the structure, or even inside the base? We know the device can do that from part 1. This just stretches things out. Also, Cobra has a bowl of boiling lead or whatever because the medieval period was a fun time.
They also have...
This thing, whatever the hell it is, that I'm sure rips off some sci-fi movie or series, but I have no idea which one. It isn't around long enough to worry about anyway. It's a pretty good uphill battle with lots of action, though I do have to wonder how the Sky Strikers got there. Were they massed in mid-flight or something?
Or maybe that temple just isn't that far away from G.I.Joe headquarters.
Anyway, Cobra Commander has one more ace up his sleeve.
My robot Cobras will annihilate the G.I.Joe forces!
And those robots are pretty damn cool. Too bad they were never a toy. Though, to be fair, the animation model looks like they're just heavily modified bigger snake armors. Oh man, that makes me think that toy could have looked like this, and now I'm sad.
Okay, so that guy's dead.
Look at the velocity! Ain't nobody walking away from that. Also, how is the commander controlling all 3 robots with just a 1-button joystick?
Must be a Commodore 64.
And the Joe's solution to this problem is...
Magnet grenades, huh? Good thinking.
which promptly destroy all of Cobra Commander's hopes and dreams.
We must flee, Baroness!
The battle is pretty much over at this point, with the Cobra leadership trying to escape. And they rescue Scarlet and the slave girl.
Later, sister. We've got a war to win.
Hands off my man, bitch! And we finally see Not Conan do something.
Which is kind of underwhelming, to be honest.
He was hyped up as this amazing super strong guy, but he wasn't part of the initial uprising, and all he does is throw that little ATV. With the most interesting thing about that scene being that the vehicle is probably an early prototype for the Ferret, though this one is a 3-wheeler. Anyway, the Joes corner the commander and Destro, who's a sore loser, as he points the mass device at the Earth's core, which would cause the Earth to explode.
If the Earth's core disintegrates, wouldn't that cause an implosion?
This does seem out of character for Destro, as he's not the type who'd destroy the world, but this is just to buy him time to escape. He's sure the Joes will stop it. And they promptly do, by shooting it because of course they do. And so that day is saved. But not only that, they actually capture the Cobra leadership? Including freaking Cobra Commander?
This is indeed a rare, almost unique event in the cartoon.
But we can't escape the cliche of the villains escaping at the end completely, as Destro gets to do the whole I'll get you next time gadget bit. And the episode, and indeed the whole miniseries, ends with the Joes transporting the stolen Eiffel Tower back to London.
Oops.
And with the mass device out of elements, they have no choice but to put the thing on a barge to get it back to France. The end.
And that was a stake in the Serpent's Heart, as well as the whole freaking Mass Device miniseries. We finally made it!
As for this episode, I thought it was a good conclusion to the story. A surprising one even. Well, not that the good guys won, I mean, come on, but that they actually captured Cobra Commander. The only part I didn't like is that Not He-Man was hyped up from pretty much the very beginning, only to have his actual contribution be a wet fart. I would have loved to have seen him at least chase or threaten the commander or something, just to see him piss his pants.
There were, of course, numerous animation errors.
Including CoverGirl being colored like Scarlet for a few frames, but if I had to go over all of them for the entire series, we'd never be finished.
That just leaves my final thoughts on the Mass Device series overall.
The story itself was decent enough, with good action and even drama at times, though there were moments that were goofy as hell too.
But the real joy comes from watching the series now, 30 years later, and seeing how it all began.
From all the early prototype models they used for what would later become vehicles, and even one figure, as CoverGirl has blonde hair throughout the series while the toy's a brunette, to how characters got their initial characterizations but later evolved. Also, this is the most screen time any of the original 1982 team would ever get, with the exception of Scarlet. Though Worlds Without End would compensate for at least 3 of them later.
All in all, it was thoroughly enjoyable to watch, and even more fun to review. But man, am I glad that it's done.
And no, Revenge of Cobra isn't next. I need a break after this. When I do my next cartoon review, we'll be going back to Deke.
Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?